Hello, everybody. My guest today is Joe Griffin. He's the CEO of a company called ClearVoice, which is a content marketing platform and talent network that he co-founded in 2013. He served in executive roles at Web.com and iCrossing and has founded multiple companies. He's employed more than 500 SEO, social media, and content marketing experts over his career and actively speaks and writes for major media outlets. Joe, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yes, sir.
Good. What'd you do at Web.com real quick?
Yeah, so I actually sold Web.com, a SEO agency, back in 2007.
Okay. Were you there with Haroon from, what was his company? Do you know Haroon when he sold his company to those guys for like $167 million?
No. Is it Network Solutions or was it Register.com?
Oh gosh, I don't. This is gonna bug me. It was a website builder, a drag and drop website. I can't remember. Anyways, you don't know him obviously, but so you sold your agency to them, and then did you stay with them at all, or you went on to your next thing?
Yeah, I did the kind of earn out thing with them. Was a great experience, and those guys are, world class guys. Love them to death.
Did you get the full earn out?
I got about 90% of it. Yep.
Why did the 10% not happen? Tell us where earnouts go down the tubes.
Yeah, because you got to typically do 2-3 years, and so I was supposed to do 2 years. I got about 18 months of the way in, and
so I gotta go.
And I had the performance. The performance was there. Like I was way over performance, which is how I was able to kind of negotiate to get more than 75%. So they were really gracious and taking care of me in that way. But yeah, that entrepreneurial spirit, man, I couldn't do it, man. I love those guys to death, but it was hard for me.
All right, ClearVoice. What's it doing? How do you make money?
Yeah, so ClearVoice is a talent network and a content workflow platform for brands and agencies. So we're basically powering, blogs and lead generation content, marketing automation content. So like white papers and emails, really the content behind marketing. It's content marketing. And so a lot of direct to brand work, but agencies are a very big segment for us. And so a lot of times we're the back office, the content and creative back office for agencies. And it's because a lot of this is, going freelance economy. We're trying to be there.
Joe, so sorry, I don't understand. How does content tie into talent management? I don't understand that.
Right. So when we think about, our definition of talent is writers, editors, designers. Right. So kind of and the reason why I don't use the word marketplace, it is a marketplace, but it's not an open marketplace like Upwork or something like that.
You can play with Scripted.
Scripted is a project-based marketplace designed for small businesses. Mm-hmm. So they're really good at turning out high quality $100 articles, things like that. We are more of a talent partner. So while our freelancers are going to be still creating articles and white papers, ebooks, a lot of the same stuff, it's a little bit more of an extension of your brand type approach. So a lot more in-depth workflow, letting the brands upload their brand guidelines, their values, their mission statement. It's a much tighter workflow.
Yep. The talent in your marketplace, are they staying as, when a company starts working with them, do they stay as contractors or they actually go on the P&L of the company that's hiring them?
It's as contractors, but that's exactly right. These are more long-term engagements.
Okay, I see. Got it. So I should think of Scripted as a lower price, a lower priced, less integrated version of ClearVoice.
Correct.
Okay, interesting.
Yep. And the market, it's good for both of us, right? It's the market needs both of those solutions.
Yeah. Why didn't you buy them? They just sold.
That's a good question. I don't know if we're ready for that type of activity yet. I think we're working on it, but I don't know if we're ready for that one.
So I want to get more of the backstory here, but let me just hone in real quick to understand price differences because it'll basically reflect on the kinds of customers you're serving. I mean, are we talking on average $20 a month, $20,000 a month, $2 million a year? Yeah. Average contract value for you is what?
Yeah, so we're going to be $20,000+ a year type contract value. Okay. Obviously, it ranges. Could be smaller than that. Could be a lot bigger than that.
Yep.
But 20+ a year in terms of any kind of software fees plus any kind of content fees.
I was going to say, so let's say I pay you $20,000 a year. Are you basically saying you're going to get 3 1,500 word articles per month from these 2 writers, and that's going to go for the next 12 months?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, and you have a lot of flexibility. You're not stuck to that. So we would call that a content plan. But that's exactly right.
Interesting. Okay, take me back. When did you launch? Well, you launched in 2013, right?
Yeah, 2013.
And where was your head at that point? Was that right after you negotiated the earn-out at Web?
Yeah, this was a few years later. So my business partner, Jay Swanson, and we started a company called iAcquire, digital marketing agency in 2009. and had a lot of fun doing that. Did a lot of professional services work. But obviously, at the same time, we had a really high quality team of engineers that we had inside the agency. And a lot of the technology we were building was to be used just for our agency. And we kind of got to a place where we felt like we were just dumping money down the drain. So we made a really big decision to stop being an agency and really move more into a platform business.
Interesting. Okay. So when you say, so you moved to a platform business, then what do you do with that? Did you sell that company? Did it shut down?
Yeah. So we were able to leverage the assets of iAcquire to help fuel the development of ClearVoice. We were able to, we were able to sell some. So we basically sold some, it was really an asset kind of play where some assets were sold, some assets were retained. Yeah.
But you morphed in terms of your team at the agency, you morphed that into what is today ClearVoice.
Correct.
Okay. Clean cap table, or have you raised a bunch of capital?
We have some investors. So we've got a couple of institutional investors. We raised a seed round, and then also raised a kind of a small Series A. Okay.
So total in the company is how much to date?
So far, we've raised about $4 million.
Okay. And any lessons you've kind of taken from that so far? I mean, is this your first company raising capital? Do you regret it? Is it panning out how you expected?
I think it's good. I think I learned a lot about raising capital. I had experience in overall M&A activity, mostly with like selling companies or with debt. So raising through venture capital was a newer experience for me.
No personal guarantees. That's nice, right?
Yeah, that's a positive. Yeah. I mean, I learned a lot about just telling the story, the things that are important, obviously, to the venture community. And, I guess the only downside of that is that's another job. There's a lot of things you have to do as an entrepreneur building a business. That's another job you're going to take on. So if you make that decision, you just have to be prepared to make that happen.
What's your team look like today? How many people?
Yeah, so we got about 25 people, headquartered in Phoenix.
Is everyone there?
Mostly, yeah. We've got some people in California, Minnesota, Michigan, but primarily Phoenix. And then we also heavily take advantage of our freelance network. So a lot of our marketing is powered by our freelance writers, our freelance editors, strategists, designers. We really heavily utilize that team.
How many freelancers in the past 12 months have made at least $100 from you?
Oh, I would say 1,000 plus.
Okay. Is that like, I'm trying to get at, is that one of the key metrics you look at? What are like the two key metrics you look at?
Yeah, we look at, we do care, obviously we care a lot about how much our freelancers are making, and we have to be careful not to have an oversupply because we end up with a case where people aren't getting work. So what we care about is making sure we're matching the right talent with the right customer, making sure that we like to set that stage for ongoing work when we talk about like a content plan. We want them to work together, all the time. That's what differentiates us from a project-based marketplace. So that's probably the biggest measurement of success is, are these people working together? They're working together consistently. Are they happy? And obviously, we're going to be able to support both sides of that process just as things change, as things evolve, make sure we continue to serve both parties.
So thousands of freelancers. Take me to the other side of the marketplace. How many customers have you scaled to today?
Yeah, we got about 150 customers.
Okay, so you're still at the point where you can afford to put pretty high touch on these folks. You're not like in the tens of thousands, right?
Correct.
Interesting. So the team breakdown, the 25 people, how many of those are like account folks for onboarding, things like that?
Yeah, we've got about 4 people on the account side, about 8 engineers, a couple sales guys, marketing team, some G&A type folks.
8 engineers surprises me for this kind of business. Is there a hard piece of tech behind this that's complex?
Yeah, there's a couple. So one of the pieces of tech behind it's pretty complex is a system we call Voice Graph. And I'll try to keep this short, but when we set out to really try to identify who all the talent was on the internet that produces content, because we wanted to basically be able to, selectively find, the right talent for the right customers. There's no place you can there's some influencer marketing databases and stuff like that, but there's no good just list or source of who's the talent by category. So what we did, we built an infrastructure that goes out, indexes all the major publishers, the top 250,000 publishers. We use some algorithms to figure out who wrote that content, and then we generate portfolios for people. And we're actually just about to launch. That's kind of V1. V2 actually goes live in the next week, which we're super excited about. And we're trying to create the best portfolios for freelancers on the internet.
Okay, so you'll scan for like Ron Miller and realize his TechCrunch articles do really well in terms of sharing settings, things you can get publicly. So you can't get page count, I imagine, but you can get like sharing signals, things like that. And then realize when you scrape the web, he also writes for Business Insider and one other one. You'll create a profile for him and then send him a random message that says, hey, someone wants to pay you $500, write a 1,500 word article. And that's how you try and get him on board.
That's a really good, that's a concise description of what we're doing.
Interesting.
Yes. We have 450,000 creators we've mapped and generated portfolios for. The vast majority don't know they exist because we've kept them mostly not public.
Yep.
But once we launch the V2, which again, in the next week, we'll start to allow those in Google's index. We'll start to allow those to be shareable and we'll generate a lot of supply. But we're then going to also work with, because we view freelancers as business people. And we're going to work with them to help them get work and also send us customers. We want to make this as circular as possible. Let's work together to connect talent.
Yep. A $20,000 ACV comes out to, I believe, like $1,600 a month multiplied by 150 customers, puts you guys north of 240, 250-ish in MRR. Is that generally accurate?
Yeah, you're in the right ballpark. So we're getting, obviously we're trying to get close to that $5 million mark. We'll be there this year, by end of the year.
Okay. You think you'll hit it by the end of December?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so 250 right now. You're at about 3 million in ARR. So I mean, yeah, that's pretty good growth. So are you doubling year over year right now?
That's the track we're on. Yep.
Okay. Did you double over the past 12 months?
Yes.
Okay, good. So call it 100, 110, something like that. 13 months ago. Keep doubling. And where's most of the growth coming from? Is it selling more content services to the same customers, so increasing ARPU, or is it getting new customers?
There's both increase in ARPU from obviously just people saturating the product and using that talent more, but it's a lot of it's mostly new customers. It's really kind of half and half. I mean, there's ongoing usage increases from those existing base, the new customers, and then the agency segment has stepped up a lot for us. I mean, as we continue to get good at that agency product, it's a no-brainer for them because the thing they hate the most is hiring and firing, right?
Sure.
They have to be elastic to the needs of their new business, their lost customers. They're also dealing with the reality of a freelance world. Creative talent's going freelance. Way over half of them right now are freelance. They're dealing with that, and their clients are discriminating more than ever. Clients demand that high quality content at the category level. They know, everyone can, and consumers are smart. We can smell crap content now. And so the agencies are grappling with that. We're a really great solution to come in, provide that elasticity, give them the subject matter experts they need. And so that's been a good segment for us.
So a good way to measure, how valuable you are is to look at churn. Tell me about churn in the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So first of all, we're really young. And so it's hard for us to get our arms around what is lifetime value. What we have been able to identify are where our, key customer segments are, where we can hit that, kind of 100% retention number annually in terms of revenue retention. There's always going to be cases for us in the content marketing space in particular. Content's kind of a hard thing to do. So there's cases where we're going to get customers that have really big ambitions for the content they want to do. And at the end of the day, they're not able to execute on that for a variety of reasons, right? Just it's hard to execute on content. Those are the types of customers that are going to churn out. The ones that are able to consistently execute on that content, those customers are getting good results. We've really found that the areas for us that have that high retention are going to be kind of the mid and large enterprise brands, and then that agency segment. The small businesses are tough because they've just got owner operators, sole proprietors.
But Joe, if you look at the past 12 months though, in terms of revenue churn, what is it? I mean, and by the way, that will take into account small versus large accounts, right? Someone churning who only pays you $10 a month is not going to materially impact that versus someone paying you $100,000 a year.
Yeah, so we're still trying to get our arms around revenue churn a little bit because we do have all those different segments. And like you said, you can kind of add it up. But I would say my numbers are not good enough to share at this point in terms of my understanding of revenue churn. And the reason why that is just to not totally try to dodge that one there.
I mean, what do you think it is though, Joe? You have a back of the napkin, but you're not confident in the inputs right now.
No. I think we're under 20% in terms of revenue.
That's not bad.
Yeah, we're year three in commerce. I think we're going to get to that.
And that's gross or net revenue churn?
That is, yeah.
So when you add back your expansion revenue, that would be net. Does that 20% include the gains from expansion?
Under 20% net. Under 20%.
Got it. That's healthy.
15% net. Yeah.
That's healthy. And yeah, that's good. That's healthy. That's not bad at all. Last few economics questions before we wrap up here. CAC, what are you spending to acquire these guys?
It depends on the segment. I could tell you that our CAC to our LTV, lifetime value to CAC ratios are 3+ in terms of our ability to acquire.
But what do you assume lifetime value is? That's also back of the napkin kind of math, but what do you assume it's definitely greater than?
Right. So we assume that the customer is going to stick around for 4 or 5 years at least.
Okay.
So obviously, if you've got a customer spending $20,000 a year, you're going to be in that $80,000 to $100,000 a year range. So to acquire those customers, we're under 20,000. To acquire those customers, probably closer to 10.
Yep.
But and one of the reasons why, again, I'm not trying to dodge those questions, but most of our acquisition activity is not done through paid media; it's done through organic and earned media. And so the traditional way that you would measure those, obviously I can just look at marketing costs and how many customers did you acquire. So that's pretty straightforward, but we're really focused on the organic and on the earned media.
Well, even on the earned, right? That's a little more complex because it's not like a Google ad spend kind of thing. But you take, you take, salaries of all your writers, right? Divided by how, what you pay them per month, divided by how many new customers per month, and you can kind of back into it. But those are healthy economics. I mean,
right? We know what our marketing and we know what our monthly marketing cost is. We know what type of customers we're acquiring, so we can obviously do that math. But I would just say that again, like the way that we're approaching this is not through that traditional means. So it's not like I'm running huge ad dollars and kind of. Now we've tested a lot of that, and we kind of know where things don't work. We kind of know what works a little bit better, but what just works for us is good content marketing. So that's where we're focused.
Yep. Joe, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's the last business book you read?
I just read Existentialism.
Existentialism?
Or not Existentialism. Sorry. What is not Existentialism? What is it called? Well, I can't remember the name of it. It's Greg Essentialism. Sorry.
Oh, Essentialism. Greg McCown.
Yes, exactly.
Number 2. It's a good book. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
I'm a big fan of what the HubSpot guys are doing.
Yep.
Both Dharmesh and Brian Halligan tend to be people I really look up to.
Yep. You're doing $3 million in AR right now. If they offer you 3x AR, do you sell the company? So $9 million bucks?
No.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building the business?
It's a good one. I'll just put ClearVoice aside. We'll put ClearVoice aside.
Besides your own.
I would say I really like SEMrush. I think it's a really great tool.
Good.
Yeah.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
I don't sacrifice in that area too much. I'd say 6.5.
That's good. And what's your situation, Joe? Married, single, you have kids?
Yeah, married, 2 kids.
2 kiddos. And how old are you?
I'm 36.
All right. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Yeah, I would say just be able to take time off when you're transitioning, whether it be between careers, whether it's going from one project to another. Find some time to just take some time off. Like that's something I've never taken like a 1-month sabbatical or like not worked for. At no point in my life since I was 16 years old have I not had a job for more than 2 weeks.
Yep.
And I wish I had done that. And I had some exits where I came and did okay financially and. I wish I had said, let me just take off 2 or 3 months and just take a step back. And I just haven't done that. I would tell myself to do that.
There you guys have it. In between those transitions, take some time. Go to Bali for a month and hang out in the monkey forest and go work at the co-working spaces with the sugar-filled coffee, right? All right, there you guys have it from Joe. Launched ClearVoice back in 2013. Started as an agency, which he kind of pivoted into what it is today. Again, helping do content at scale with about 150 customers, paying on average $20,000 per year. That's ACV. So doing about, call it 250-ish per month right now. Hoping to break that 5 million ARR mark by the end of the year, growing over 100% year over year. CAC to LTV is really healthy, paying less than $20,000 to acquire these customers who stay and are worth well over $80,000 to him. So payback is also healthy at less than 12 months with his team of 25 based there in Phoenix. Joe, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thanks, Nathan.